Didn't get to see much of you last year because of the injury, and then we got you in the bowl. Where were you at in that game, health-wise? I mean, it didn't seem you were probably yourself, having spoken to people from your past and what they expected.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was pretty healthy, but I mean, not taking reps all season and then getting tossed in the fire. I mean, it was definitely good for me to get my first start under my belt, and yeah, it was just a good experience for me, I think.
Okay,
What did you take from
where
that?
do you come? Yeah, go ahead.
What did you take out of that?
Just a lot. I mean, I finally got to play in a game and see what it's really like to start in a game, prepare for a game, and yeah, it just really took a lot from it. Kind of fueled my off season. I figured out what I needed to work on all off season really, and what I need to get better at.
Like what?
Like just preparing mentally, defensive recognition, speeding up my footwork. Just game speed is so much different than practice speed, so just really getting used to all that stuff.
What do you see in this kind of competition with Graham? It's like Big Ten South suddenly here.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's been a really good competition. I mean, we both embrace it, and Max as well. We all love to compete, so it's been a really fun spring so far.
What was it like going through that injury last year and just having to be sidelined like that?
I mean, it definitely wasn't what I wanted or what I envisioned happening, but I mean, you live and you learn. I mean, I learned a lot during that time about myself and about my work ethic, so it was definitely good for me.
What did you specifically learn about yourself when you're, I guess, the game's taken away?
Yeah, just how much you really want to be out there and how much you shouldn't take it for granted, honestly.
Were there any quarterbacks you heard from, anyone who had gone through a similar injury to what you've gone through, who maybe reached out and gave you some guidance and advice?
Not necessarily, but Coach Napier actually has a guy who's pretty close with Drew Brees, and Drew Brees had a pretty similar injury to me. I don't know if it was the exact same one, but it was pretty close. So really we just followed all that stuff that he did and a lot of the rehab stuff that he did. So it was pretty good. It was a really good connection. We followed it basically to a T. We added some more stuff in it because mine was I think mine was a little bit worse than his, but yeah, we followed it pretty closely.
Was the injury worse than because at first it was like he may be back for game
Yeah.
2, then it just kept going and going, and then
Yeah.
the season was gone. I mean, what was the initial diagnosis and what were the setbacks? Take us through the timetable.
Yeah, so initially it was a torn UCL, but there was a fragment of my bone that chipped off with it, so which made it a little bit more complicated for them to kind of connect it all back in surgery. So really the hardest part was just getting it, like being able to bend it and all that stuff. It was really hard to get back to like full capacity strength and all that stuff.
How
How
frustrating?
tough getting the grip all the way back on the ball? How tough
Yeah, that was the hardest thing to get. I mean, that probably took anywhere from 7 to 8 weeks to really be able to grip a football like as how I wanted to. But yeah, we're still working through it and still getting better.
And how frustrating was that? Just for
Yeah, it
you
was
to
definitely
lose
difficult
that?
for me because I want to be out on the field. I want to play football, so it was definitely a challenge for me mentally. But I got through it.
And you had to start out with like some youth-sized balls.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was throwing a youth ball for probably 4 weeks on the sideline during practice, a little tiny ball. So kind of it was a little weird. Yes, sir.
You know, people have been waiting to see Jack Miller all season, and they finally did. But was there a feeling that they're not really seeing the real Jack Miller?
No doubt, yeah, it definitely was not the performance that I wanted or how I envisioned it going at all. But, you know, I learned from it a lot, and like I said, it really fueled me this offseason. I mean, I've been pissed about it since it happened, so making sure it won't happen again.
Was there anything in particular that you really wanted to focus on and work on between now and spring?
Really just the timing with all the receivers. I mean, Ricky coming back, that was huge for us, so really getting on the same page with him on every single route. And really just a lot of the other guys too, like the freshmen coming in, just I want to be on the same page every single play with all of them.
It seemed like in the bowl game you did have a little bit of timing with Ricky, though. Was that from your Arizona days and stuff? Or
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, I've known Ricky since I was in 8th grade, thrown with him, and yeah, he's a really good football player.
What was it like playing with Anthony last year and just the season that he had?
It was awesome. I mean, he's such a great guy. He's such a good teammate too. So it was really cool seeing somebody perform at that high level and still be able to act the way he did towards all of his teammates.
Were you able to stay engaged just like in his process of being a starter and kind of learn from that?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I learned a lot from Anthony. I mean, the way he attacks the work, the way he prepares for games, really just because I was able to sit back and watch because I wasn't having to prepare necessarily, but I just wanted to really see the process and see how he does it. And it was really impressive to watch all year.
What have been the message from the coaches as far as the competition? Like, what are they looking for? What do they want in a quarterback? Have they told you?
Just consistency, and I mean, it's an open competition, so whoever does the best, that's who it's going to be. So.
What was your reaction when you heard Graham was coming? Or
I mean,
thinking about coming?
Yeah, I embrace competition. Like I said, I love it, and I mean, it's just gonna make all of us better. So there was really no reaction. Just come back and compete.
Did you know him or know of him?
Yeah, I knew of him, of course, but I didn't really know him personally. Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on him and just what he brings to the position, his skill set?
He's a really good dude. He has a really good arm as well. So it's really cool to see somebody. He has a lot of experience as well at Wisconsin. So it's really cool to really learn from somebody too, because he knows a lot.